Today we're going to be seeing just how far we can push this $90 gaming PC. It definitely did good for $90, but let's see what we can do with a much higher budget. Now just a recap on the specs. We have an i5-6500 with 4 cores, 2 4GB sticks for a total of 8 gigs of RAM, and a Radeon Pro WX 3100 with 4 gigs of VRAM. The biggest hurdle with upgrading this system is going to be the measly 200 watt power supply. And with this small case, we definitely won't be able to fit a full-size card, unfortunately. And we won't be able to make this low-profile RTX 5060 work, just due to the requirement of that external power. So this leaves us with the RTX 3050, which isn't a terrible card if you can find it at the right price. I will be giving an RTX 3050 away once I hit 1,000 subscribers, so make sure to subscribe and drop a like. So now we're going to remove the i5-6500. Thankfully, these CPU coolers are super easy to get off. Just a screwdriver and you're done. Yeah, this CPU looked pretty rough once I got it out. As you can see, that thermal paste was all dried up, probably barely doing anything. Again, we'll be replacing that crusty i5-6500 with this i7-6700. And the CPU installation was a breeze. Easily got it installed and then threw on some thermal paste. Got the CPU cooler installed, made sure it was screwed in, extra tight, and now the i7 is all ready to go. We took the measly 8 gigs of RAM and upgraded it to 32 gigs, which is a little bit overkill, but might as well go all out for this machine. Then we had to install the smaller adapter for the RTX 3050, and then get the RTX 3050 installed in the machine. Super easy, just as easy as the WX 3100, clicked right in. So let's plug it in and see if it boots up. It booted up perfectly and we were able to get into Windows. Once we got in, we went ahead and installed the drivers with absolutely no hiccups. Just to go over the CPU briefly again, this is an i7-6700 which was released in 2015 and utilizes the Skylake architecture. It's a 4-core 8-thread processor that boosts all the way up to 4 GHz and has a TDP of 65 watts. And again, we're pairing this with the RTX 3050 6 gig model, which has 2,304 CUDA cores and a low 70 watt TDP. So let's go ahead and see how well this PC can do in some benchmarks. Here we have Minecraft running at 26 chunks with some pretty high settings and some shaders. And we were seeing about 30 to 60 FPS, which isn't great for Minecraft. So we went ahead and lowered the settings from 26 chunks down to 21 chunks, and that definitely increased the FPS, as you can see. At 21 chunks, we are definitely getting a much more playable experience, high GPU utilization and low CPU utilization, so there's definitely a little bit more room for a better GPU, but again, we're just lacking with that 200 watt power supply. Next we have Hitman 2 running at medium and high settings at 1080p. This ran very smooth at about 80 to 90 FPS. We did see the low 60s at one point, but this is a more intensive scenario. It's crazy to see this running so smooth on what is basically just an office PC with a few upgrades just dropped into it. Now we have Road to Vostok, which I've never played before, just got it for this test here. We had the settings at high, and as you can see, it ran pretty great. We were getting about 60 to 70 FPS, which is definitely playable, I think, for a survival type shooter. Let me know down below if you guys like seeing these type of games, Road to Vostok, Minecraft, and Hitman, or any other game suggestions. Just feel free to drop them down in the comments. Now we have Red Dead 2 running at the balanced preset, which is more of a higher medium mix. And this looked way better than our $90 setup and ran a lot smoother. We're seeing pretty good GPU and CPU utilization here, which just goes to show the great pairing of the RTX 3050 with this older i7 6th gen. Here we have Arma Reforger. This is one of my favorite games to test. It just really pushes the CPU and GPU. It's also super pretty and it's just a fun game to play in general. Here we had the medium preset and we were seeing about 30 to 40 FPS in the middle of a gunfight. which isn't great, but it actually felt pretty smooth when I was in the gameplay. If I were to use this as my daily driver, however, I'd probably run this at low settings just to get a bit higher frame rate. Here we have Arc Raiders running at 1920 by 1080 with the Epic settings preset. This game always runs so amazing, even on lower end hardware. We're seeing complete CPU and GPU utilization, which is just great. This game shows just how good of a pairing the i7-6700 and RTX 3050 is. This game ran great at about 60 to 80 FPS. We did have a few drops down to the mid 50s, but nothing too crazy. At the end of the day, if you play Arc Raiders, this is a pretty great setup. Now we have Counter-Strike 2, which is our first and only esports title we'll be testing. And we are playing on competitive settings at 1280 by 960, which is a 4x3. The game was definitely playable here, but the frame rate and frame time was a bit inconsistent. I definitely chalked that up to the CPU not having a lot of V-cache and not allowing the GPU to be fully utilized. Grand Theft Auto 5 Enhanced Edition we had at 1080p with the very high preset and some ray tracing turned on. Grand Theft Auto 5 looked amazing here and ran amazing, especially with that ray tracing. We weren't even dropping down below 60 frames per second. I know it's a bit of an older game, but you love seeing this game running well and the nice CPU and GPU utilization. And last but not least, we have Cyberpunk 2077 running at the medium preset just to get that higher CPU utilization. And boom, we weren't seeing any bottlenecks on the GPU or CPU. Great spread among the two. We have a very playable 50 to 60 FPS. In the actual gameplay, I'd imagine it to be a bit lower, but for the most part, this game is definitely playable with this setup. In conclusion, this is such an awesome little rig. The fact that it can play so many AAA titles at 1080p, medium and high settings, while maintaining a pretty high frame rate is amazing to see from this. The biggest thing holding us back from glory and being able to use that RTX 5060 is again that low 200 watt power supply. But I definitely feel that we met our limit with this CPU. We can't go any higher with any other CPUs on this board, unfortunately. But if this is all I had, I'd be more than happy to use this as my daily driver. Thank you again for taking the time to watch this video, and make sure to subscribe to get entered in for that RTX 3050.